All right, YouTube looks like it's doing something.
Okay, so are you good to go?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess an introduction would be in order. So welcome all to the first Kroxylicious community call. The idea behind this call is that the project already has a number of asynchronous ways of communicating GitHub issues, a recent new mailing list, discussions and so forth. But we recognize that there's still occasions when you really want a high bandwidth way of talking to the other people who contribute to Kroxylicious. So that's the idea behind this community call. So the community call will run every 2 weeks and will alternate between time zone that's convenient for Europe in one and sort of Asia Pac in the other, and we'll alternate backwards and forwards. We'll have a kind of standard agenda which we'll run through, and that will give us time to triage any incoming issues or PRs that are coming into the project, where we'll review those together, decide on what actions need to be taken next, record those actions on the GitHub issues, and hopefully help the project make progress in that way. We've also got a space here to talk about proposals. So if there's a proposal for a large new feature in Kroxylicious, attendees can come along and stick a link to the proposal in the document, and we'll get to that and discuss that too. We've also got an any other business, which is an ideal place for, come with ideas for new use cases to the proxy, problems you're encountering, things you just generally want to talk through. Did I miss anything? Can anybody add anything to that summary there, which might help those watching or listening to the recording?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a fairly good summary of what we hope this is going to be about.
Okay, so shall we start off with, so we've shared the goals of the meeting. We've got some attendees recorded now. So maybe we just dive straight on in with issue triage.
Sounds good.
We could add Jan as an attendee. And I really enjoyed how all of you are failing to spell Kroxy in the attendees list. In an interesting, different number of ways. Yes.
So I'm not sharing my screen, so can somebody else share the issue triage?
I presume it's Sam who's currently sharing his screen.
We can't hear you, Sam.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Hey! Right, bear with me while I track down the right link, because we don't have it in the agenda doc.
Something to add to the agenda doc.
No, I thought it was added to the agenda doc. At least that was my intention.
Oh yes, it is in the regular agenda.
Wrong calendar as well. Oh, come on. All the things going wrong this morning. If anybody has it, drop it in chat.
It's in the doc.
Is it?
Yes. Under regular agenda, issue and PR triage.
Okay, reading is not one of my skills today either. Where have you gone?
I think you got your name spelled right though, so yeah, tying your shoelaces are the next achievement to tick off, I think.
Never. I refuse to wear shoelaces. There we go. Did that no, it didn't share. Sigh.
It's another meeting tool to get used to.
All of the things going wrong. Right, can we see issue triage now?
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, right.
What ants? There we go.
Fantastic. So I've ordered it. Obviously, it's showing issues that we haven't triaged before. I've ordered it in reverse date order as well, so we get the oldest first. So if we don't get all the way through all of the issues, when we start this again in 2 weeks' time, we'll begin at the oldest one we haven't got to. So we shouldn't leave issues behind. So the first one is me. This is about a KMS integration for Talis, Cypher Trust Manager. We're still partway through the investigation here. We believe now we've identified the way forward using the REST API, although I noticed that the issue here hasn't been updated with that finding. So I will take an action to do that. So that investigation needs to be concluded, and then we will be ready to start.
Did we just lose Keith?
Seems that way.
Can you still hear me?
We can hear you again now.
Yeah, my session just disappeared and ended with a browser error.
You just sort of stopped at a sort of mildly embarrassing pose, but yeah,
Right,
you never
well,
left according to
I'm
me.
used to that.
Yes.
I'm not sure where I got to when it stopped.
Yeah, I think you were saying that you need to update this issue because you hadn't mentioned the findings.
Yes, so the rest needs updating with the details of the REST API that we'll be using, and the investigation needs to be concluded just to make sure that we can access all of the endpoints that we need to access to do the KMS integration. And then at that point, we're ready to start implementation.
And we seem to have lost Sam and the screen share.
Oh dear.
Yes, when mine broke, I wasn't touching the keyboard or anything. It just
yeah, well, at least
disconnected.
you were here twice until very recently. Okay, Sam is back, but his screen share isn't.
Is audio working though? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Good.
And you're moving as well.
Right, hang on.
Could be worse, it could be Teams.
Hang on. Oh, come on, computer. Right. Yay.
Yay, it's back.
Right. Are we throwing a triage label on this one?
I think the investigation needs to stay open at the moment, so let's leave it in an untriaged state for now. So I will take an action to update this issue with the latest that we know about this integration.
Sounds good.
Okay, so this one's over to Sam.
Yep, this one's quite surprised we haven't talked about this one before. Small issue that I was noticing when we were inspecting one of the pull requests that we have a HA proxy message type, which is reference counted by Netty, but we never mark it as freed or cleaned up. Someone's been in the area of this since I raised, so I'll need to double check whether this one's still valid or whether it got swept up. But it's just, we ought to do something with it at some point to handle it correctly. Shouldn't be big.
Yeah. So this probably needs a networking label as well as.
Yeah, I think might be hoping to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've definitely seen references to it somewhere.
This is probably a help wanted one as well.
Yeah, fair. And I think that should be fairly straightforward. All right.
Do we want to stick a triage label on this too?
Did I miss that? After all that, I didn't even get triaged. Sigh. Switching compilation target. Following the deprecation policy, so we've deprecated JDK17 in, was that in 19?
Yes, that's right.
So this is gated on 21/1.
Yes, that's correct.
For the upgrade. Ooh. It'd be quite nice to be able to do that in 1.0.
Yep. So there is a milestone created for 0.21.0 already, so we can attach that.
All of the things. What's next? Rob? Still young?
Well, I'm not sure if that one's dropped off. That might have been before we gave it a unique topic per test. But we're definitely seeing ones in the other test, which is mysterious. And I've put up a reproducer PR where it fails around the 30-second mark from the start of like a parameterized test. And you can change a thread sleep and see it fail at different points in the parameterized run, but at around that 30-second mark. So it feels like there's something happening, which I haven't been able to pin down.
Right.
After the brokers have been up for 30 seconds.
So you're saying with this particular issue, this one might be closable as fixed already, and you've got a different one raised with another IT.
Yeah, I think we should close this one and just be eager to reopen it if you see the same again.
Looks good. Okay, I think I raised this one. So this is all about the process of upgrade. Well, the Strimsy project is advancing its Kubernetes API to version 1.0. And we need to decide, at the moment we've got some Strimsy integration, which knows about the Strimsy v1 beta API version. That will break at some point when Strimsy stops supporting v1 beta. And so this issue is about deciding how we go about making that upgrade. And I've set out here pros and cons of taking different approaches.
Is there anything we ought to be talking about just now, or is it just to go read the issue and ask questions there?
I think that's it. Yeah, go read the issue. So, comment on the proposal the alternatives as they stand at the moment, and maybe suggest different ones. And then once we've decided on the course of action, we can follow through on that.
Cool. Thanks, Keith. Do we want a triage label on this one? Because it's clearly something we have to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Kube API? I mean, it relates to Kubernetes APIs, so I guess, but it's not ours.
No, it's not ours. Probably just operator label is fair enough.
Cool. We're done then. That did not do what I wanted. There we go. Mr. Young.
Yeah, so this is capturing some, I think, requests we've had to make the key selection more flexible. So our current options are one key for all topics, or one key encryption key alias per topic. We can substitute the topic name in, and I guess users don't want to manage many keys potentially, so they may want to map multiple topics to the same key and then multiple other topics to a different key. And this also touches on the weakness of the unresolved key policy. So using the KMS response to determine whether we do not encrypt or not.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah, so the state of that is I'd sort of made a prototype to use regexes to select a key, and it also had a mechanism for saying whether you want to pass them through unencrypted, but we're starting to sort of diverge from the KEK selection API we already have, which is really oriented around picking a KEK. So the current API isn't really great for the future. We can't, do things like say which things we encrypt, like the headers versus the record value, that kind of thing. So it's like maybe there needs to be another API in future. So it feels kind of bad to continue torturing the existing API. But then this also felt kind of more like a tactical fix that people want this before they can start using record encryption. So I was kind of looking for a small thing. So that's another option, is just to maybe implement a regex-based or longest prefix approach, just using the current KEK selector API, and just hold our noses that they can't do the selection of which topics to pass through unencrypted for now.
So what would next action be on this then, do you think, Rob?
I think I should write that down somewhere as a proposal. Maybe just in this issue. I don't know if it needs a full thing. I think I'll propose that we don't change the KEK selector API, and if people could
I wonder
invest in a different API.
Before you do that, if we were all to take a read through this issue, just so we get completely au fait with what's being talked about, and maybe express our opinions as a comment, to try and move things forward a little bit.
Yep. Okay, so first a round of review would be created.
I think the tensions you've been just here are, there is a bigger fix needed to, support other things other than just topic mappings. But whether there's a quicker fix that we can do today, as you were saying, longest prefix or whatever match, to get people moving, keep people moving with record encryption, and then we come back to the bigger API when there's cycles. I think that's a a sensible split to be looking at here.
Yep, I think I should write up that state because I haven't really written anything. I think I put it on the PR, some rambling about how maybe we should do the quicker fix. But yep, I'll update this issue as well.
Thanks, Rob. Everyone happy with triaged and putting a triaged on it? Anything else we should have? Should we be adding it to the 021 milestone? Is there something we want in it to be out there soon, or is this?
Yes, I think we probably should. Flaky tests.
I haven't. When was the last time that cropped up? Last month.
I wonder if that's related to the fix I was pushing out the other day about requiring multiple cycles to have everything fully resolved. I wonder. Can't remember which integration test I was in for. Oh no, I was in all reconcilers. So no, it's not. Well, it could be the same problem.
This is over a month ago, though. I never remember seeing this one.
Yeah, if it's too infrequent and hard to reproduce, just close.
Let's just close, and if it comes back, we can address them. Sam, there is two sorts of close. When you close, you can either close as complete or you can close as invalid. So I think of one like that, close as I'm not suggesting.
I just lost Keith again.
Yeah, Keith is just frozen again.
Okay, cool. But I assumed he was saying that I'd used the wrong kind of close, but no point in fixing it.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got two Keiths.
We have to keep again, yes. One out of me, not, yes.
I'm not sure about video technology.
All video conferencing is dodgy. Right. Moving on. I'll try and remember to close it with the right type next time.
Okay, so this is another one which was raised by me. Should the proxy and/or operator validate the upstream configuration? So we had a user who flagged this up to us, and this is just highlighting a case where we have some weaknesses where misconfigurations go unnoticed until the point in time that the client connects. So from the point of view of somebody standing up the proxy, everything looks good, but it
Keith frozen again.
Got to try the string out in Scotland.
Yes. We need Keith to be personally connected by fibre optic to the internet.
I have a fibre optic cable.
Yeah, but not inserted in your body, was what I was implying.
Yes, I don't have this problem with any other video streaming platform, so
It must hate, Scotland or something.
yes. Sorry, I have no idea at what point it cut off. So yes, there are situations where the proxy doesn't discover misconfigurations until clients connect, and that presents issues to some people who are standing up brokers. So the desire here was to have the proxy be more proactive in checking for certain misconfigurations. And there was a whole bunch of things I mentioned in this issue, which are possible.
Yeah, I think it's definitely pointing at a real problem for users of the proxy. But I think there's kind of two classes of issues. There's things that the proxy or the operator should be able to tell and say are invalid about the way that the proxy is being configured. But there's also the remote end just didn't appear. The remote end supplied different sets of credentials, which I am much less convinced we can defend and send. We can obviously detect in some situations, and we do think, don't know how reliably and how much the problem space we can actually cover sensibly.
Yes.
So I think there's two classes of issues. And now the issue, the user report may well be pointing at that we don't do a good enough job of logging connectivity problems and other things like that. So it's hard to diagnose, but there's still a class of problems that you could argue are misconfigurations, but we just can't detect till a client tries to do something with it.
Yes, I agree. There are two classes here. The two examples I have in my mind, you kind of setting up a TLS protected virtual cluster, and you give that certificates where the names, the host names in those certificates, not the SNI names, the SAN names are incorrect. Then that's potentially misconfiguration. That could be the proxy could say, hang on, the names that I'm expecting the virtual cluster to resolve to don't match what's in the certificate. That could be rejected as a misconfiguration, and it will never work. There's another class of problem which is just it might be that the Kafka cluster that the proxy is configured to connect to has just fallen over, and it will come back up later on this weekend after the finished maintenance. But in that situation, you don't want the proxy just to fall over at that point. But you might want to see something from the logs.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other point that's worth highlighting in this is that our blast radius controls are process-wide at the moment. So if we were to fail startup because you'd misconfigured the SAN certificates on a particular virtual cluster, no virtual cluster is available through that process. So we are, because of that limitation, we are still walking a very tricky line between what we can fail that startup for and what we can't.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, it reminds me of the work.
So does that imply we should have an issue somewhere that says we should be able to fail individual virtual clusters without taking down the whole thing?
Sam started some work on that. You used to
There
proposal,
is,
didn't you?
yes, there is a proposal about how we do identify this and manage the life cycles of this stuff. It's also covered in the dynamic reload proposals floating around and the proof of concept pull request as well. This is all territory there as well. So I don't think we've got an explicit issue that says we should reduce our blast radius controls so that you can misconfigure an individual virtual cluster safely. But the problem is described in various places and being addressed.
Fair enough.
So what do we do with this issue then?
I still think there is signal in this issue. I don't know whether we want to try and have a pass at whittling it down to the things we can actually detect and sensibly prevent, and try and identify the classes of issues and things that we can and can't fix.
I think at least having an issue that is, sort of the one class and another issue for the other class of problem would be a sensible thing. Because this is just like sort of too big a thing to really just stick in a single issue and expect anyone to be in a position to solve.
Can we clarify as well, rather than should the proxy and or operator, are we talking about a thing for the proxy or something for the operator here?
I think that still somewhat depends on what bits of the configuration you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just, in terms of an issue, it'd be better to narrow it down so we know where we're thinking of working on it.
I think the issue exists, and the solution could be in the proxy, or the solution could be in the operator, but that's not for the issue to determine. That there is a misconfiguration. Where it's best detected and reported
Well,
is up to...
presumably, one question is, is this something specifically to do with the operator, or is it something to do with the proxy as an abstract thing? It doesn't totally feel like an operator thing to me, but I'm not really sure, which is why I was asking.
Yeah, I think
Well, it is in the sense that you're going to want to end up manifesting something in a custom resource to say that didn't work. So the operator is involved to some extent. How it figures that out is, I think, yet to be determined.
But I feel like even if you run this without the operator, you want to have log warning messages and things like that. So it may be an and rather than or.
Yeah, it is an and. It's absolutely an and.
Yeah.
invalid certificates is an interesting one because some of them are a kind of declarative problem. You've given it a certificate that's now expired or something, and one might be your trust doesn't line up with the trust that the the broker's CA presents.
The distinction I was trying to draw through is that you can only determine that it's presenting something you don't trust when you try to connect to it. You can't statically determine that.
Yeah. No, I meant within invalid certificate, an expired certificate is something that's detectable.
Yes, but you can't detect all certificate problems.
Yes. Yeah.
Because as Sam said, some of them depend on externalities that are beyond the set of configuration files, which is, I think, what we mean by static, sort of misconfiguration, isn't it?
Is there a better word I can use then? Internally consistent configuration,
I think what you've written is clear. I was just trying to say, invalid certificates could mean many things, but I think it's good enough. I will take this and I'll split it into two, and I'll try and write up two good issues.
That's good.
Thank you, Keith. This is kind of related, I think. It's one of yours, Keith.
Yeah. Let's skip over this one, and I will factor in. I think it might overlap with the things we've just talked about.
Cool. Mr. Young again.
I think this was just extracting some comment from something that Tom was doing. So one of the RPCs, we limit the top of it because it was doing some two-phase commit authorization, which hasn't been fully implemented in Kafka 4.1 and then 4.2. I think it's now targeted for 4.3. So yeah, I think it's something to do.
Something to do when it becomes something that can be done by Kafka.
Is this something we could put a help wanted label on, or is this, is it sufficiently mechanical that someone else could do it, or does it need to be someone who understands our auth flows?
Hopefully quite mechanical. So yeah, put a help wanted on it.
should also mark it triaged.
Yes.
This was just highlighting an opportunity to improve the code within the operator. Some of the work that we've done recently, whilst I was reviewing it, I noticed a bit of a unfortunate dependencies between packages and things, which look like it could be straightened out. And I think this might be a helpful.
It's just a refactoring exercise, isn't it? It's not. Cool. Just make sure we're up to date on this one. Mr. Young?
Yes. This is extending our authorization filter docs to cover transactional ID auth.
And this is still to come?
Yep.
Cool. Help wanted or?
No.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we'd have a 020 milestone as well.
Sorry, did you say 020 or 21?
The next
020,
release, yeah.
Yeah, the next release.
Cool.
So yeah, this is catching a couple of problems with the authorization filter to do with RPCs that carry regexes. So recently, the broker has added support for native understanding of regexes for topic subscriptions for the new consumer group protocol, the new streams group, the new share groups. They can all pass a regex over. And then the broker can, I don't know, watch for new topics being created that match the regex and hand out assignments to them, which really messes with some of our nice proxying ideas, making the broker smarter. So yeah, this is sort of just an issue to capture the issue and figure out what to do. I have a pull request, which is just going to make one of those RPCs fail if it sees a regex. Pretend like we can do authorization by sending it through. Yeah, and to investigate whether we can actually do something there. I felt risky to pass through the regex and then sort of like remove assignments at the proxy that are for unauthorized topics. I don't know enough about Kafka internals to figure out if that's safe.
Do we need issues for fail the other ones closed as well?
Yeah, more issues is probably good. So often I've been saying partially addresses issue X, and it doesn't ever get closed.
Yeah.
I'll split them.
Rob, sorry, can you just explain a little more about how this presents a problem to authorization? The penny hasn't quite dropped.
So in authorization, I guess we're trying to restrict their access to some topic, or they can use naming patterns and things like that in their authorization language, saying I'll let through topics named XYZ. If they subscribe using the new consumer groups to .star and pass that through to the upstream, then the broker will, I guess, subscribe to new topics as they're created that match that regex, regardless of whether the proxy thinks they should be authorized or not.
Right.
So
okay, so this would implement its own authorization rules around that, but of course it's completely unaware of what the proxy is trying to do.
Yes.
So it would, if a new topic called foo appeared and that matched a previous regular expression, and the ACL rules on the broker allows that, then it would spontaneously subscribe to that topic. Am I kind
Yes.
of along the lines?
Yes, something like that. It will appear in the assignments on a heartbeat response. Maybe the proxy could filter them out, but it's scary that we've got broker state that knows that something should be subscribed to this topic partition, and then the filter discards it. I'm not sure what the consequences are for that. So it feels safer for now to explode and investigate.
Yep, I see the difficulty, I think.
But you may be vindicated in asking for the topic ID to, sorry, the other way around. I think it might be, oh no, wait, we always go from topic ID to name. I think it's got the topic ID, so we have to map back to names there as well. Okay, that's not a problem. Don't worry.
You're thinking quite hard here, Keith.
Yeah, I realise I don't understand enough about how the protocol works in this area to really say anything useful.
I don't know if we've written up the issue. We talked about it in relation to multi-tenancy, right, in the entity filter, because it'll have the same sort of implications for the entity filter.
Yeah.
Except I think we figured out we might be able to just manipulate the regexes on that path.
Yes, that's tricky as it stands, but I think that is solvable. You'd need to build some kind of regular expression. You need to parse a regular expression and re-express it in terms of the prefixing or whatever scheme you're using, which is tough, but it probably is achievable.
Prefixing and suffixing seem plausible. Anything more complicated would seem implausibly difficult to solve.
But it seems like a different problem.
Mm-hmm.
Any other labels or anything else we want to apply to this issue? Anything else we want to comment on it?
So
I'm taking silence.
Rob, just on this, would it be better, rather than blowing to a non-null regular expression, would it be better just to use the API versions response to not support the versions of the RPCs that have these new fields in?
Yeah, I think some of them may have a version without the regex in them. Yeah, that's an idea too.
Right. In fact, you see here it's version 0 plus and 1
okay.
plus. So okay.
Yeah, so I was looking at the consumer group heartbeat, and that did have a first version, so can support it on that one. But yeah, streams groups, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that new consumer group one is going to be very popular, and using regexes seems pretty normal. Okay.
Just a reminder that this meeting, this meeting is supposed to be 3/4 of an hour, so we're just starting to overrun. I mean, I don't mind sort of carrying on and doing a full hour if other people are up for that.
I'm quite happy to call it a day there.
Yep, sounds good.
Pick this up in a fortnight's time. I'm wondering if this issue though should have an investigation. It sounds like it needs a little bit more digging.
But yes, put those regexes in your mind. I'm sure they're going to haunt us for a long time.
Okay, shall we close the call there?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.